So it's time now for our children's message. So good morning to our kids who are here and to those of you who are watching online. So we started a new series in worship last week where each week we're looking at different names for and ideas about Jesus. And last week we talked about Jesus as our teacher and how Jesus taught us to love God and love our neighbor. And we thought a little bit about some of the stories he used to teach us. Jesus used a lot of parables that helped illustrate what love is like and what God is like and what the kingdom of God is like. And this week we're talking about Jesus as the way, which is a little vague maybe. But it's a good one to ponder because in chapter 14 of John's Gospel, Thomas asked a big question. He was wondering, Jesus said, I'm going before you, I'm going to prepare a place for you, and I'm going to bring you to me. And Thomas said, wait. How do we know where you're going? We don't have GPS. It's the first century. Okay, maybe he didn't say it exactly like that. But Thomas wondered, well, okay, how do I know? How am I going to know the way? How can we know the way? And Jesus said, well, I am the way. And I think part of what Jesus was reminding Thomas was that you've been with me this whole time. You've learned from me. We've done ministry together. We've been walking this walk together. You, Thomas, as my disciple. I think you're learning the way right now. So remember those things that you learned, and you'll figure out the way, and I am the way, and that you can just trust that God will come find you where you are, that you know the way, whether you think you know it up here or not, you know it in your heart. So, if we want to know something about what God is like, I think we can look to the way that Jesus lived. I think that's part of knowing that Jesus is the way. How did Jesus live? He lived with lots of love. He showed lots of care. He taught people. He healed people. He helped people. He encouraged people to do those things for one another. Those are some of the ways that we understand Jesus as the way. So, kids, here's one of my takeaways for you. I don't want you to ever hesitate to ask your big questions. I think that's an important part of this story, that Thomas was honest about his question, and he asked Jesus, and Jesus gave him a loving answer. And so I think that's an important lesson actually for kids of all ages as we continue our faith journeys, that we're never too old, and it's never a bad thing to ask our big questions and be open to how God will meet our big questions with love and compassion and care and wisdom. So kids, keep walking in the way. You're doing a good job. And I know that we appreciate all you do and the way that you show love and care along your life's journey. So now it's time for our kids to head off to Sunday school with Mrs. Miller.